We are here for Apocalypse Keys, Bonds of Power, episode 18. So we ran over so much last time that I totally missed doing stars and wishes and end of session questions. So I had the players put in all their stars and wishes into the chat um during the week, as well as hopefully going over their end of session and then filling in as needed. But, the usual questions. Did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity? If yes, marked 1 XP. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin? If yes, mark 1 XP. Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster? If yes, mark 1 XP. And did you uncover at least one key of the apocalypse or attempt to unlock Doom's door, which everybody did. So no ruin marked unless they pulled upon marking lots of ruin within the session itself, which I do recall some people did. And did you lean in or resist your impulse? So hopefully everybody answered that question as well. Okay. Again, race to Harbinger. So that's how I feel like it's going. um, I don't know if we want to do this. So yeah, Vivi's player is a little delayed. Hopefully he will be able to join us soon. Um, but in the meantime, anybody remember anything significant from last time that they want to kind of recall?
Well, Wisp had a whole uh, nightmare scenario with something living inside of Lydia, or at least taking the form of Lydia. Something weird was going on there, and then Petri found Wisp with her sword at Lydia's throat and was so caught up in this that he totally forgot he had left with Zero, who was just standing there feeling very hurt by all of this. After he made zombie cultists, maybe? Unclear.
Oh, right, that did happen. That was really cool. Let me actually go back and look at my stars and wishes.
I think to add to what Ben was describing, we discovered that this entity that has either been taking Lydia's form or that is somehow um, nestled inside her body is called Sashenka and has a vested interest in the Omens uh, bringing forth the apocalypse, though we don't really know much more about her than that. Trying to remember if there's anything else significant for Wisp. I think Wisp also discovered that Lydia has had some doubts or misgivings about division connected to her history with um, Petri, formerly known as Peter, and some missions that they had done together, and the outcome of those. It's unclear whether those are Lydia's true feelings or whether those are also being somehow manipulated or influenced by Sashenka.
Oh, that's what else happened. We also learned from Sushenka that we're in Vegas because Division is testing us to see who of us will cause the apocalypse first. Because something about quarantining us in Vegas or inside the deck or question mark will prevent that from having consequences. And as I recall, Zero and Petri are very, very okay with helping Vivi cause their apocalypse.
I think Zero's not thinking of it as this will cause an apocalypse. He's just drunk on his newly discovered power.
Yeah, sure. However, whatever lets you sleep at night.
He doesn't sleep.
And why are you lying to yourself?
Well, it's also like this would be, as apocalypses go, fairly low stakes, right? Because it will only happen in this like weird pocket
Yeah.
dimension, Vegas. So, I mean, if the apocalypse is going to happen, this is the best place for it.
Unfortunately, we do need Matt here for the apocalypse to happen. So we're just gonna have to vamp and hope.
Any thoughts to where you think that the cards will be auctioned or sold? Because you established before that there's going to be somebody's like, trying to sell it off, and Vivi had advanced everyone two nights. So tonight is the night that it's going to be happening. Any ideas of where this is going to happen?
Well, there's a whole casino we haven't. Oh no, we have been in both. That was what else happened. We discovered the Assassin's Creed casino and the other one, which was
Or- ooh,
I don't remember.
Wolf Towers, where Lydia and Wisp were having a conversation.
Oh right, that was the casino with bad taste.
mm,
That's what it
mm.
was.
Retro, sticky, bad taste. Sticky, tacky, kind of the same thing. Sure.
There was
Yeah,
a very defined squelch rip of the floor. I think
it was
that
beautiful.
qualifies as stuck.
It was beautiful. Stuck in time, that sort of thing, for sure. Absolutely. A lot of debris in the center square with um like the fountain still going, but I think there's an excitement in the air as it does eventually veer into night. I think as you're, seeing what passes for dusk and twilight, I think you will see a very large bird shape doing the flyby over all four casinos as it turns into nighttime, and kind of lose track of it in the waning of the day. So, yeah, I mean, desert sky, completely dark nighttime, and there's an energy in the air from, or in all of the casinos, that something's going to happen. So, where do you think you go to catch this auction, the sale of the Chernobog deck?
which hotel looks like it would have like the most corporate conference rooms below the main floor, do we think?
Below or
Assassin's
above?
Creed.
Uh, Below. Yeah, like a like basement level one.
Ah, gotcha. I mean,
If I had my druthers, the Assassin's Creed casino would be as tall in sub levels as it is in stories.
I think we did establish that it did have like sub levels because of the pit that people would like kind of like leap down into,
Oh, of course.
for the different levels. And of course it looked taller within as well because of the glowing outline of the world tree, or world trees, who knows. But yeah, I mean, like, it definitely had depth to it for sure because of the gaming pit. I think that's what we called it, even. It was the gaming pit. So yeah, you just pick your sub level. Or take the leap. Who knows? I think everybody was still going through when we left off, everybody was still going through the time shock, where normal folks, the mundanes, were going through like doubling and tripling once Vivi had done the time shifting. But I think that's starting to calm down now, since it's almost like time has caught up and now is like shifting back to where it is. Um, you guys have Lydia and Agent Ehrlich, and Cobb is recovered, probably still back at Red Rock, but I think he'll, do the communicator and then like, try to find out where the hell you guys are. If not you, Omens, but he'll probably try to contact Lydia and Agent Ehrlich. So, you think you go to you return to Archivist and do the dive?
Guess so.
Do we have? Are there no stairs?
Do you say this out loud?
Yeah, sure.
I
Aren't
mean,
there
like,
stairs? Elevator? Escalator? Something?
I think as you're watching everybody do the run in and like kind of run out and like PvP out in the foyer and stuff like that. I think as you say that, I mean, there's somebody that looks like they have the full the full original Assassin's Creed gear, with the hood and then like, kind of like the robes tunic thing going on with ready to do the parkour thing, and they kind of stop themselves and like kind of look at you, Zero, like look you up and down. It's like, well, no, because to take the leap of faith is the best way to experience the game. Why would we do something as mundane as the lift? Just take the jump. It'll be fun.
I think Zero will just turn to the others and say, "This is really stupid."
Petri is already in the pit.
Oh,
Probably like you see the streak of Petri running past past you as you.
Leaves a snail trail as he's like rollerblading towards it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So yeah, I think you see him like as the guys finished it and you said that it's stupid. It's like I think you turn to look at the pit and you see almost as if like gravity has like kind of like a slow like a catch sensation, right? So like you see Petri take the leap, and there's a pause, and then ploop, falls down the pit. Um, yeah, see, look, that one did it. Let's go.
Something being stupid has never stopped us before.
I think he'll look like really offended for a second, and then he'll just jump.
Uh, before Wisp jumps, she's like, okay, fine, I'll use I statement next time. And then she'll jump in the pit too.
Oh, that's great. And I think with a little bit of hesitation, it's like, Lydia and Agent Ehrlich will make as if they're going to jump after you all. But then I think Cobb starts running up and kind of catches them and says something. And then they go and follow him. They go down that one hallway that, uh, excuse me, Hildy had brought Vivi and Agent Ehrlich before. So you three are at least down there. We'll see where Vivi ends up. Maybe the time shifting has affected them adversely. Who knows? All right. So, how do you figure that you sense what's the right floor as you're making this drop? Imagine making this drop. I mean, like you see like all the other people like, doing the parkour thing. Maybe they're taking the leaps back and forth from level to level. Maybe some people are just like doing the full dive and kind of catching on some things that they see and then like swinging themselves onto the level. But then for some reason, your descent for the Omens is slow, like almost leisurely, like Alice going down the rabbit hole. What do you see that indicates to you which is the right floor. And mind you, it doesn't necessarily have to be the same one for all of you.
A bullseye on the lowest level, looking down.
I almost want to say there's like a wooden sandwich board near one of the landings that just says Chernobog deck auction today, 8 p.m. with an arrow.
Love it.
I'm imagining that in the middle of the bullseye in the floor, the very center, there's like an infinity symbol carved there, like the one that floats above the magician's head in a Rider-Waite tarot deck.
So let's just say for right now that maybe Petri and Wisp, your descent takes you all the way down to that bullseye and even into the infinity symbol because you realize that once you get down there, it is immense. It is not just a simple, oh, we're going to touch down on the floor. It is much, much bigger than you expected. It's almost as if your proportions had changed, taking that leap into this AR kind of atmosphere. And Zero, I think your wooden sandwich board kind of took your attention a few levels above that. So maybe you're not necessarily with Wisp and Petri. So I'm gonna say let's go with Zero first. When you take the swing towards the sandwich board and the arrow that it indicates, I think it takes you down a hallway that doesn't look like all the other ones. It is not the LED lit up hallways that you see on the other different levels. It actually looks like that at first, but then it kind of shifts into an actual realistic or real looking cave with like all sorts of depressions and cracks and crumbles and everything like that. And you're pretty much following the dirt floor down and around what looks like a cave system here. And I think it's lit up by sconces of actual torches on the wall. Um, and you see the footprints of others that may have come here, and they're all going into the same direction. So even though everything branches off, it looks like they're all converging onto the same place. And when you get to the end of one of the branches, I think you will see a strangely shaped wooden door at the end. And it has like one of those panels, one of those door flaps for somebody answering the door on it. But no other indicator of like where this leads. What do you do?
Oh, I guess I knock on the door.
Nobody answers, but you hear like a murmuring behind it.
I would like to use my telepathy to try and get a read on whoever's on the other side.
Sure. That would be brain, sorry.
Don't think I'm doing it hard enough for a you can't hide your heart from me. Just doing a surface level.
Right. I mean, you're not enforcing your will on anybody. You're just trying to do like a kind of a peek. Um,
And it's my power of darkness, so.
yeah. So power through darkness. Well, I mean, like you're not really pushing anything either. Yeah, just roll. Just see what happens.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh God, what?
I do not have any darkness tokens. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that's all.
Uh,
Cool.
a 6.
Oh, goodness.
Was
Just
that power through darkness then?
well, I mean, you weren't enforcing your will upon someone, so I mean, like it's about as like yeah, I mean, like you were using your darkness, um, darkness power. Will offer you something connected to what the darkness demands of you. Hmm. Sorry. Closer and closer. Goodness. What the darkness demands. Sorry. God. Oh my God. All right, I gotta think about that for a second. Let me go over to Petri and Wisp. So, you float your way down to this bullseye, which is much, much bigger than you thought. It's even imagine like landing on a helipad, like how big that is, you know, as if somebody was going to land a very big vehicle like in this place. And the infinity sign ends up being again as big as one of those big H's to indicate where to land. Um, but there's a shimmer to the floor, as if it has further depth from here, but you can't quite see anywhere else to go. And no one else has gone down this far. They've either like, leapt onto one of the other levels, or maybe they've kind of like just drifted off into again one of the other hallways around here. It's just you two, and the big mark on the floor. What do you do?
What
Where'd you
happened
get
to
that
Zero?
sword?
What?
What?
You first.
That's a new sword, right? Where'd you get it?
Well, I think actually it is very old sword, but until recently it was not mine.
Did you steal it?
No, I
Did
took
you?
it as a tribute in battle.
Okay. No further questions. I think Zero is waking up. Not sure to what yet.
He might be in danger.
We're all always in danger.
Some of us can handle it better than others.
I can't tell who you're insulting with that remark, so I will ignore it.
It's not an insult. I'm worried about them.
Me too.
Oh, reveal your heart. I don't care who rolls, because
Do I even have? I consistently forget that I have 2 conditions somehow. What even are those? I guess I'll roll.
Mhm.
My dice are behind me, so
When you reveal your heart and try to sincerely connect to someone, spend darkness tokens and roll. And again, you can meet the conditions of getting darkness tokens just as you're rolling for them, too. So,
I think I still have one of those. I'll spend it.
okay. 2d6 plus 1.
Damn it, damn it. I have 53d6 in this bag, and I have yet to pull up 2. There we go.
Oh God, what?
It's a 4.
My gosh. Oh, your heart. Okay. On a 7 minus, something interrupts or undermines the moment, a dire warning, consequence, or an aspect of the mystery itself. The keeper will tell you what happens next. Boy, howdy. All right, great. So I think what happens next is you are worried about your friend and friends. And I think at this point, the glow of the infinity symbol gets sharper and starts to glow upward, where it gets blinding. So if you have something to kind of shield your eyes, fantastic. But even if you don't, I think that the the infinity symbol is going to turn on itself, as if the floor itself is shifting. And I think it will dump you both within the circles of the infinity symbol, and you will both get shot into separate places.
Rude.
So that is the interruption. Back
You
to
said there
zero.
were like hallways that are kind of um connected at the point of the bullseye, right? So it's like we're each blasted down a different hall.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So,
Got it.
like, a trap door opens and we're each sent down a
Shoot.
different slide.
Yep.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And zero. Yeah, you're a knocking at the door. Darkness connected to something the darkness demands of you. The panel shifts open. As your memories return, Zero, slowly, in piecemeal, what do you think is the face that you would see that would give you pause, but yet you would warily accept any help that they gave? Considering if you were part of the Pantheon, whose face do you think that you see? Not Prometheus's, obviously not Cobb's, but I mean, like, who would you see?
I think there is a woman, older woman standing there. She has long dark hair, black as pitch, and eyes just as dark. And he doesn't. He's not sure enough to put any word to it, but I think something about her feels very maternal.
You don't look like him. Hmm. Is that you,
Is that who?
Mr. Sleepy Time? Is that you?
No?
Oh,
Wait.
you
Maybe. What?
you have that sense of an old acquaintance of mine. Maybe my eyes are going strangely. Ugh. Fine. Come in. Let's see if we can sort this idiocy out. She slams the panel closed and the door gets flung open. And you
Wh-
see her there.
Okay, but where is here? And is this where the cards are?
Oh, yes, you were one of those looking for the yes. Um, they're here, but we're on the way. We're in the, what do they call that? The green room? Yes, the green room. Yes. Waiting, waiting to be received. And then we will go and she rubs her hands. We'll see who will get to buy the deck. Yes.
Okay. So this isn't the green room.
It's on the way.
Okay. I would like to go to the green room then.
I've been waiting. They were supposed to send someone, and then she kind of waves over like further within the room, and you realize it's like it's leading to a hallway. They supposedly have to prepare the spectacle to show the cards. I'm not sure. Maybe we should go and see. Maybe we should go and see why they're taking so long.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
What's your name?
0.
Zero. Hmm.
Maybe. What's your name?
Hmm. Until someone worships me, I actually don't remember. Hmm.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. I'll follow you then.
We are in the right place. Don't worry. And she will kind
If
of
you
like,
say so.
she'll hook one arm into yours. Remarkably strong, even though she's kind of like, you know, older and frailer looking. And then she will kind of, you know, move with you. I hope you have something good to offer. It's always nice to be able to feel challenged during one of these auctions.
Oh, I have money.
Money. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. That might work. They have to, well, they have to ask for an offering, possible sacrifice. We'll have to see. It's fine. Let's go.
Sounds good.
I think as she's like, you know, kind of hand in, or excuse me, arm in arm with you, the cave shifts and it starts to open up from a tunnel into this grand cavern, and it's got the trappings of all the different casinos. It's almost like you can see a hallway that looks like it's bedecked in lots of like forest and florals and everything like that. So it's the strange greenery. And then like another hallway that looks like it is from the Red Rock because it's like very like lava looking, like that lava rock kind of look with chains embedded in it. And even Archivist, it's almost like one of the VR hallways has like kind of tunneled down in here into this. And there is a tunnel that looks like it's smoky and felt looking, like as if it's been lined in green felt. Um, and that could be from Wolf Towers. You don't know. um, but at any rate, in the middle of this big cavern is this very large table with seats all around, like a big conference table with a very shiny lacquered uh, table in the center. And there is someone presiding at the head of the table, but you can't quite see because the table seems to have spotlights on it on all the other seats, but the one at the head of the table looks to be in shadow. You just see a pair of very slender fingers, kind of like the figure is standing and then the fingers are just kind of like at the lip of the table. And doesn't have anything in front of them, just standing there waiting. I see we have the first of our buyers. Good.
Really, the first. Okay. Cool. Yeah. That's me. I have money.
He kind of repeats what Mystery Woman had said, which was, "That's good. But are you willing to offer as well? Do you have an offering to purchase the
Money.
deck?" It is a completely separate thing.
Oh. Um, maybe. Yes. Yes, I do.
You see the shadowed figure nod, like the head nod. Good. When we have the rest of the table here, then we will begin. Please, feel free and peruse the deck that you can see here. We have some of it on display. And lit up behind them is a board which looks like it has pictures of the deck. But I mean, it's not the actual deck itself, it's pictures of the deck. And maybe you see. Let's make that a paint the scene. It is not a normal tarot deck. It does not have the usual suits or obvious major arcana. It is made up of the emotions, the aspects of your experiences, but represented by people that you know or things that you have done, things that you have seen. Each of you name a card, whether it be major or minor arcana, and it doesn't have to be, again, the traditional tarot deck, but name the arcana and what is on the card. Aspects of people that you know, emotions that you have felt, things that you have done. What is on the board? What is on display?
The first major arcana in the deck is greed, and its image shows Wisp's nemesis, gold coin glinting in plenteous gore, in pitched battle. And in the illustration, he is reaching into the chest cavity of a warrior that he's just slain, and pulling out what would be their heart, but what is instead a pile of gold coins, their blood bleeding, like a reflective gold, silver down his wrist.
I think there is also a take on the hermit, but instead of a person wearing a robe or something like that, there is a large glassy tube, like a column stretching from a tile floor to a ceiling that disappears. or that's so high up it's invisible, and floating in this glass column is a human figure in a fetal position, hair billowing around his head like wings.
And the final card in our 3-card spread is the Hall of Mirrors, which we see as uh sort of a what is the God, there's a specific painting I'm thinking of, but imagine a man in a suit, a black suit, standing perfectly straight, facing away from the camera, abreast of 3 sort of paneled mirrors showing a a smiling face, a weeping face, and uh, a face that perfectly blank, not even neutral. There's just no features on it.
And I think there is one more card on display in this strange board. I think it is. It is called The Lost. And it shows what you would recognize, Zero, as Agents Danvers, Ehrlich, and Cobb leaping off of a cliff and having the expressions on their faces of surprise and shock and horror. Yeah, Petri, you go down the chute. What form are you in right now? Human, snail-like, sliding fungi? What are we in?
As much as I would love to expand to fill the volume of this tube, I think it's much funnier if I'm fully human and have to contend with pretending to have bones while going down this chute.
I think. Oh, I think when you go down this chute, it's not a smooth ride. It's almost as if it was expecting you to be in some kind of other state. Um, and it's a bit bumpy. You feel possibly bruised in your human form. But then you end up getting spit out um, into what looks like uh, one of the casinos. And I think you recognize it as being the interior of Wolf Tower because it kind of resembles like the bar area that you saw Lydia and Wisp. And yeah, the bartender's there, like spitting into the glass and then rubbing it with that dirty rag. Ah, you back. What can I get you?
Just water, thanks.
Ah, running cheap today, huh? Fine. It takes like a very old looking sprayer and just kind of like spigots into the glass and kind of like just tosses it down the bar at you. Um, the water does not move like water. It does not splash. It has this gelatinous quality to it. Like it seems to like a lava lamp that's like outside of the lamp. Just kind of jiggles and sloshes a little bit but doesn't splash. And it comes out very viscous looking when you get it in the glass, but clear. and somebody will come up to you at the bar and say, "Water is supposed to be sustaining. Do you find it so in this form that you are in?"
Of course.
Good, good. If you would like other refreshment, I can get him to give you some. And when you follow the line of the very thin fingers that are resting on the bar, and then follow the arm, which is dressed in mauve and puce, and see her robes, looks female, but she has a bald head, two wide eyes, and slits for nostrils. You don't recognize her, but she seems to know you. How are you finding all of this, Petri? Or do I call you Peter in this form?
I've never really found names that important. They sort of distract from the point, don't they?
Depends
They
on
are
who you
names.
are.
Of course. And who are you that they matter so much?
You can call me Shashenka.
Hmm. Nice to meet you, Shushenka. I've heard a lot about you, I think.
Have you?
Well, not me. Hang on a second. Okay. Less than I thought.
You can always ask.
Where are you right now?
Ooh, very good question. And when she laughs, you see the rows and rows of teeth. She does almost like a strange little pirouette over by the bar, and as she turns and faces you again, you realize you are no longer in the bar of Wolf Towers. You are in that strange between space where there's a table and seats, and she looks at you and spreads her hands and says, "I am where you are, and you, I believe, are everywhere."
Near enough. Less places than one would think.
Sometimes I can go in and out of everywhere, but sometimes I need to wear a certain form to be perceived. This, or maybe you would find this more pleasing. And as she moves her hands above and over her face, her features and her form turn into Lydia. Is this better?
What do you mean by this? Is this a threat?
No, no, just calling upon what I perceive as your memory. You
I don't
find
believe
her
you.
important. What do you believe?
That thing, this face is too perfect to be my memory. What did you do to her?
I didn't do anything. I can wear her very easily in this reality. And she just seems to be very open. She doesn't realize it, of course, but she is.
Find that hard to believe.
Well, how well does one know one, right? The teeth that smile at you are Shashenka's teeth, not Lydia's.
Always with the teeth.
I ask you, do you want to wake up? Ever since you were transformed, have you been hiding? Or are you trying to be the real you?
I'm here, aren't I?
In this form, yes. But I think there's so much more. I think there's so much more that you want.
More than the world could bear.
Oh, but who's to say that you have to be within the world? Why not go beyond it?
I suppose I could go beyond the world in the same way your heart could go beyond your chest.
It can. It can.
Hmm. We'll see.
Did you want to do something?
Well, since you asked,
You have a move, or do you want to use one of the
I don't
unleash
have
the
any
darks?
moves. I should have a move for this,
Mm,
but I don't. So let's just power through darkness.
okay.
If we are between spaces, then maybe I can find if she is in Lydia, then I can definitely find her. And if she has left Lydia to be between spaces, I think it's not inconceivable that I can rip away what she's hiding behind, so to speak.
So are you trying to enforce your will on her to force her
I
to
want to see her face.
excuse me. I think you want to unleash the dark then, because you're
Yeah,
trying to
that's it
enforce your
then.
will. Yeah. Spend whatever darkness tokens you've built up and
They're all so name. I do I have did I I'm taking 2 for suffer or inspire on we
okay.
and rolling. Like a 5. No. No, that's a 6 plus 2 for an 8.
Okay.
Sorry, miscounted on this one. You can see that?
Alrighty. So on an 8 to 10, you wield the darkness with control and ease. Choose 2. Get past your defenses and inflict a condition. Get what you want from them. Avoid reprisals, harm, or cost. Gain the upper hand for now. Expose a weakness or flaw, or confuse them for some time. What do you think you do
Hmm.
out of those things? You could choose 2.
I know I can, but it's such a list.
If you want some time to think about it, I will go over it to
No, I
Wisp.
think I'm good. So getting what I want from them is, I think, the same as exposing a weakness or flaw. I don't care about avoiding reprisals. And I think I'll get what I want from them. Or I'll gain the upper hand for now and expose a weakness or flaw. That's what I'll do.
Okay. Tell me how you use your power to do that, and what do you want to expose specifically?
Some kind of intent, I guess,
Okay.
is really what I'm looking for, but I also chose not to get it.
Well, how does your powers manifest to gain the upper hand?
Oh, that's easy. If this is a space between, then I bring in as many Petris as possible. From as many angles in as many worlds with as many eyes to all just look at her. And I imagine that is probably pretty uncomfortable.
She tries to turn this way and that once all the Petries and the eyes start piling in. And I think in her turning, I think you realize that she ends up looking like a nesting doll, where, of course, the outermost one is Lydia. But then you start to see the hollowness of that particular Lydia underneath. And then, like, you can get based down into what looks like Shashenka's original face to you, but this face is atop what looks like a moth form. And that moth form will fly away with a strange pattern of, again, mauve and puce. And then on their back, when their wings are outstretched, you will see an infinity symbol. And the intent, I think you'll hear her voice in your ears, all of your ears, that says, "All I want is for you to awaken. And I think to do that, you need to be released from your grounding. You are too connected. Let go. Rise above the ground." As this moth form lifts away and disappears in a shimmer of purple and moth wings. Wisp, your chute is able to accommodate you, so you go relatively smoothly, but it is a crazy ride. I mean, like, imagine, I don't know, doing the weirdest roller coaster you can think of. Like, you're actually doing loop-de-loops in this thing. How? Who knows? And you finally slide out into an area where it looks like it is still within Archivist because of the LED and some of the neon. And it seems like your vision is obscured slightly because you see readouts like along the sides, as if you are wearing one of those weird helmets. And when you bring your sword up to look at it, it is, again, very... Oh, God. What's that game? I'm so sorry. I'm like, I don't play these things, so I don't really know these names. It's the one where you hear music and then, like, you've essentially got lightsabers in it. Is that Beat
Oh,
Saber?
I know exactly what you're
Beam
talking about.
Saber.
Beat
Saber.
Saber.
Beat
Beat
Saber.
Saber.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Beam Saber's the role-playing game. Oof.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, you've essentially got a Beat Saber in your hand. Um, and then out steps from the darkness from beyond the LEDs you're going to see a woman dressed in armor, like lit up armor, and she has the outline of wings at her back. And she is also wearing what looks like a VR helmet. And she's got the mic like over by her mouth. Oh, a worthy warrior. Are you prepared to die?
I think Wisp is a little unsteady on her feet as she begins like kind of circling this other person, sizing them up.
They've got a
Um,
shield, and they also have like a beat saber in their hand as well.
I think I think it takes a moment for Wisp to respond. There's like a few seconds of the sort of almost like prey-like response where she's just like getting her bearings and like, okay, who is this? Can I take them? Usually the answer is yes, but she always has to do that mental calculus.
Sure.
Um, and I think there's also like a disorientation, because like one moment she was talking to Petri and the next she wasn't. And I think like there's the emotional whiplash is in part because like she's already feeling kind of frustrated because she couldn't make herself understood to Petri.
Hmm.
'Cause she didn't mean that she thinks Zero is weak, although she did once. Um, Far from it. Like she knows now that he harbors like a power so immense that she couldn't see it up close. So now she's just worried that he doesn't know how to use it or that Division's going to blunt it before he can really own it and figure it out for himself. Um, and those are definitely the only reasons that she worries about Zero. So we don't have to talk about this anymore.
Right.
um, yeah, suddenly she like puts all of that in her mind. Um,
This warrior that's in front of you will go into a stance, shield up, saber ready to go, and she repeats herself. Are you prepared to die? Valhalla will welcome you, warrior. You see a hint of like purple hair like underneath the helmet, like it's in this very long braid, very lavender.
Valhalla. Is that in Canada?
No. What? And then she just lets out a like a battle screech, and then will just come after you.
I think in the like mode of hesitation where she was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Wes was taking the moment to kind of spring forward with her saber um in her own battle stance.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay. So, I mean, the battle has begun. So we can call this like a bunch of like unleash the dark or power through darkness. I mean, this is your warrior skill against hers because you're up against Hildy Mist. So, I mean, I think you're pretty evenly matched even with your different styles and such. But I'd be curious to know if you were planning on using any of your specials, your moves.
Let's see. How does Hildy match up to Wisp just like purely physically speaking, like in terms of stature?
Oh, you're both the same. Like
Okay.
in this particular augmented reality, you are both like equal. So she's as big as you, if not a little bit bigger, like because of like, height and just majesty with the wings and and the shield and all that kind of stuff. But yeah.
I think it would be interesting if this is a reveal your heart.
Ooh, interesting.
Um, is I think Wisp is most interested in like figuring this person out and like whether or not they're useful to her and finding the deck.
Okay.
And there's also a certain joy to like a combat that has no what Wisp perceives as no stakes, right? Like
Sure.
she fully believes that she can beat this person.
Sure.
Um, but it's like fun to see LD
Okay.
try.
Oops.
Um,
So how do you reveal your heart to connect with Hildy?
I think it's like um between thrusts and stabs of the sabers,
Hmm.
um, Wisp, there's a moment where Wisp has like Hildy pinned against one of the like hologram like
Hmm.
walls,
Sure.
and she's like, so is this how you spend your time playing war games? Is there
To,
nothing better to do here?
to,
Nothing more important.
to find the best and the brightest, so they burn with warrior skill and heat, and I take them, and I can bring them to paradise, a warrior's paradise. And she kind of like bears her grin at you and says, "You will be my greatest pleasure to bring to Valhalla."
When the warriors go to Valhalla, what happens to the weak ones they leave behind?
She will answer you with a flurry of blows and use her shield to kind of like, bash you aside and away. And she will actually remove her helmet so you can see her eyes underneath and say, "Doesn't matter. They are above it all at that point. They are the brightest stars they have ever been." And then she'll come after you again.
I think Wisp holds the shield aloft. We get that moment where like maybe the point of Hilde's saber is like, um, oh, I like the mirror that it's like almost going to press against Wisp's neck, like if she moves in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and through gritted teeth, Wisp is like, um, so you've been to Warrior's Paradise? You've seen it yourself?
I bring them there. Yes, I am a Valkyrie. And she says it with like such pride, such heat, such fervor. Of course, she's seen it, and it is her honor to be able to bring people there. Uh,
I think the stab of anger that goes through Wisp gives her enough energy to like push this Valkyrie off of her and like bring them back to sort of even ground. And I think here's where she kind of reveals her heart. And she says, I've been to a warrior's paradise too. I was born in it. A place where you don't survive unless you fight, and you fight good. Unless you kill, because the alternative is, well, you can guess. And do you know what was so distinct about that warrior's paradise? Do you know what it was like? Really?
the,
Warrior's paradise is only paradise for a warrior. It's shit for everyone else.
Roll.
I'm going to spend. I'll spend 3 of my darkness tokens. And I'm rolling. Okay. All right, it's an 8.
Okay, great. So, 8 to 10, your heart reaches theirs. Choose one. Yep, grow closer, gain 1 bond, soothe your heart, clear 1 condition, taught you something important, mark XP, gave you hope, clear 1 mark of ruin.
Before I choose,
Mhm.
I'm curious how she reacts, because that's going to impact my choice, I think.
I think upon your words that it's shit for everybody else. I think she has that frustrated scream of when she just bashes her shield against yours and knocks it away and is about ready to like run you through with her beat saber, and then she just drops it and says, "Yeah, it's shit for those that aren't good enough too." I do it because I'm under orders. Because I'm loyal. And I don't want to be a card.
I think. So I think the choice I'll make is that this gives Wisp hope. Oh no. No. We'll grow closer and I'll gain a bond on her.
I was going to say, you don't want to clear marker ruin, I know. Sure. Okay, so count yourself with 1 bond with Hildy Mist. I am Hildy. And I am a Valkyrie. And I don't want to be a card. She has dropped the beam saber. But she's also going to, offer you a hand up from where she knocked you down.
Wisp clasps hands with her and lets her support Wisp as she rises. Wisp isn't quite smiling, but we see that all of the like kind of tension in her body has relaxed. No longer in fight or fight mode.
And Hildy will look at you almost begrudgingly, but she'll kind of smirk a little bit and say, "That was the best fight I've had for some millennia, I will say."
You flatter me.
I mean it.
Well, Valkyrie, I am the whisper becomes a scream. And I am a pawn of division, but I don't want to be any longer. If
That
you're looking for a new fight, I, I am not sure, but soon I might have need of new fighters.
have a good arm. And she will offer her hand in that, like, kind of like the warriors, you know, not a warrior's clasp,
Mhm.
for like, entwining hands, forearm to forearm. First things first, we need to remove the deck from play. No one can have it. If they do, then all reality will implode.
Isn't there some way for whoever harnesses the deck to use it how they like to reshape things?
Yes, they can. But that requires so much strength. That requires so much will. Only the gods seem to have that kind of power.
When she says strength and will, Wisp sort of like cocks an eyebrow and gives her a meaningful look. Down at their hands that are still clasped, the way their like strong fingers are digging into one another's skin. I think we have that. And I think
Tighter
it's time
squeeze.
to release you from guard duty.
I like the sound of that. Shall we go? I know where the deck is. Oh, where it's going to be auctioned.
Lead the way.
And Matt's here, but I was like, I think I need to offer everybody a break. I can catch you up, Matt, if you want.
Hi.
Hi. I can catch you up while everybody else takes a break.
Do you need a break? I can bug Ben for his armory if you need to get up and do stuff too. We can walk
Just
in and get water.
okay. Yeah, that's not like refreshing beverages, bathroom break. Yep. So
Yeah.
we'll see you in like 10 minutes. Yeah. Let's go for that.
Right.
10 minutes. All right. So Vivi has joined us. Before we get into Vivi's scene, Vivi, please describe a card that is put on display from the Chernobog deck that, again, does not follow traditional major or minor arcana, but describes perhaps an aspect, an emotion, or something that you've done in the past that is on the card. Name the card and then describe what is on the card.
Okay, so I had written down, and let me know if this is not, if this is too close to a traditional tarot thing. I'd written down at the Page of Doors.
Hmm.
Is that too close to? No?
No, it's fine.
Sure. And so I think the card has a door that is both ornate and somehow brutal, and a figure that is reaching for it. But if you move around at all in the room, or if you shift your head, it's got that kind of lenticular effect where sometimes it's a figure that you can't make out. Sometimes it's Petri, sometimes it's Shashenka, sometimes it's someone else, sometimes it's Zero or Wisp or Vivi, or maybe even one of the handlers occasionally.
Yeah.
And doesn't seem to stay still.
Nope. Excellent. So, the others have taken the leap into the gaming pit, of course, and ended up in different places. Do you think you've also done the leap as well?
I think if you want to elide time, perhaps Vivi will have examined the little Yggdrasil, the big Yggdrasil that was there,
Yeah.
and may step out of it towards the gaming pit after pondering its mysteries for some time.
Right. And I think that is the point where you see everyone else is gone. You don't see the other omens. However, you do see agents Danvers, Ehrlich, and Cobb head towards the edge of the gaming pit. But this is something interesting, Vivi. You see them approach, and then you see Cobb, like, kind of beckon them away from the edge of the pit, like kind of going around, maybe almost towards where you are, like coming from the Yggdrasil hallway. But then once they get around the pit on a different side, Cobb, you think it's Cobb pushes them both off.
Into the pit?
Mm-hmm. They you see the looks of surprise and shock on their faces when they see him do it. And then he leaps down after them.
And I think Vivi's perhaps frozen for a moment, reaching out towards them as they fall. And then they're gone, and Vivi will just say, "But Cobb, but why?" And
Cobb's already made the leap too.
oh, I know. This is a rhetorical question asked to the void where the handlers once stood.
Right.
And we will straighten their suit jacket, which is a very practiced human gesture, considering the suit jacket is technically part of them, not actually clothing. And
you feel a hand on your shoulder.
Oh. And we will turn.
It's the blind gaze of Cerulean Mond. Remember, I asked you once, please, don't let me be a card.
Vivi nods slowly. I will do what I can to protect you from being a card.
The auction is down there. Your friends are making their way there now.
Are you ready for whatever happens?
Depends. Depends on what you plan on doing there. With the deck. I see you holding it. I see you taking it in.
Vivi just sort of smiles quietly. Says, "Would you believe my plan is redemption?"
Depends on who you plan on saving. And then she will turn away.
We will steal their will and step off into the pit.
Okay. And I think you pass by all the levels. What's the thing that you see that indicates this is the way to go for you? The others had seen something different, each of them. But what do you see as you're making your floating Alice in Wonderland way down the pit?
I don't think it's a thing that Vivi sees. I think it's a thing that they hear. There's a thrum, a bass line that is more felt than heard, a rhythm, the beginnings of a song.
Which is a pretty neat trick, because considering there's like a lot of like video game cinematic epic music being piped in here. So for you to feel that and hear that, it's pretty cool. So yeah, if you follow the thrum of the bass, I think it leads you down a specific corridor which for some reason looks a lot like the verdancy of Sherwood Forest, which is really odd. Does it sound electronic, or is it something like a drum beat?
Think it's closer to a drum beat. I almost say it's even more. It's more organic. I'm thinking more like sort of the not like whale song or something like that, which is obviously not like gonna have a rhythm, but something that it feels like it's always been part of the world
Hmm.
more than a synthetic or even human instrument.
Right. And I think when you float down to that particular level, again, this is such a green forest, it's full of life, um, plants, fauna, excuse me, plants and flora, and then just leading you in like trees that seem to entwine with each other and then just kind of create this pathway. I think you're hearing this thrumming, and all of a sudden in front of you is this man with longish hair and what looks like a dark moss green suit. And he kind of spreads his hands, and an unknown wind seems to kick up out of nowhere, kind of like moving his hair off of his face and like kind of billowing around. And he says, "It's alive with it. You hear that sound. You hear that song. It is alive with life. And this life, this connection, can be with anything and everything. Are you here for the deck too?"
It smiles. Of course.
Come along then. This is one of the pathways to lead to the auction room, as far as I know, at least.
Are you here for the deck as well?
Of course, of course. Anything to augment my magics and reshape, remake. I'm Constantaneous, by the way.
Vivi, you will smile. You may call me Vivi. It is the closest approximation.
Kind of bows as you're walking. Pleasure, Vivi. Yes, I seek the deck. I have
I
heard so
feel
much.
like any with power and sensitivity and connection to fate, past, future, must have been drawn here. There's a gravity to this.
Gravity, weight, and yet endless, infinite lightness. To know so much power in your hands and being able to use it for everything. And the smile is just like kind of like just almost beatific on his face as he's contemplating it, and he spreads out his own hands, and they don't seem to look that impressive. They're slender, they're well formed, but then like he starts to move them, and then you almost see like the shimmers above his hands as he's kind of like working on his own power. And you see them, I think, in the patterns of the dances that of how to say, quantum energy, just control over very, you know, smaller than any kind of particle that you can think of. And he has it as well. What will you do with the deck if you have it?
Fix a mistake.
Seems simple enough.
Yes. The greatest ideas are often simple in their delivery and complex in their execution.
The question is, and he's still shifting his hands and you can see the patterns forming in the air. Question is, what do you have to offer to give for the deck?
And Vivi will look over and say, now, Constantinius, you're a competitor. That would be telling.
Just making sure we all have our tickets to ride.
This is where I wish that Vivi had power like Zero or something like that, because it would be time to mind whammy this person.
Well, I mean, you do have options. It's not like you don't. I mean, he's walking, like, next to you amiably enough. But did you want to do something while you were on your way? The
I don't
pathway
want to get
seems fairly
lost.
clear. Well, I mean, like, the pathway
Okay,
seems fairly
okay.
clear. But, like, down this, like, tree-length pathway, like, you see it gets kind of dark. Kind of dark down there. But aside from that,
I need to think of what I could possibly do with my powers to. Oh, hmm, hmm. Uh, I might roll ashes to ashes. I need to go look at other playbooks for a minute.
okay.
You should cut to someone else while I go and figure out if I can mind whammy this NPC and steal his power and use it to buy the deck.
That's funny. All right, so I'm gonna switch over to Zero. Zero, you're there already with, um, I mean, like, you did give a suggestion for her name, but I'm thinking that she doesn't quite remember still, at least not yet. And yeah, she's just kind of looking around at the different cards that are here, especially at the four that are very much on display, and they seem to move. Like now that you're, you know, still or somewhat still looking at them as opposed to just approaching them, you realize that they move. The agents falling down off of the cliff, they are moving in space. The hermit is floating in that tube, but the wings are moving as well, opening and closing, like almost to the rhythm of a heartbeat. Greed glints. Hand looks like it's savoring the feel of this person's heart that he's grabbed. And the mirrors, they keep shifting, as if the person seen in the mirror is turning. Or is it the mirrors? Or is it the person? Can't quite tell. And finally, the page of doors. I think you get to a point where, as it cycles through all the different figures, as you try and look at it in different angles, it finally cycles down to you and this person reaching for the door that looks like you, Zero. turns to fully face you in the card and gives you this smile like, should I do it? Should I open the door? What do you do?
I think he'll look at the person who he couldn't really see much more than their hands and say, so are these the actual cards then?
The shadowed figure will turn to you and say, yes. And this is just the display. There are so many more cards that have not been spread yet. It also has another meaning, too. As you see it, this is the 4-card spread. This is a story here.
And what's it say?
He goes to each of the each of the cards and explains to you, the path of greed and being asleep, and then seeing so many different possibilities in the identity and memory. And then finally, with the Page of Doors, this person points and says, that is the future that still needs to be writ. I think that one will show the results of who wins the auction of the cards themselves.
And you're the seller.
In a way, yes. I represent that whom is offering the deck.
And who's that?
And you hear a little bit of a laugh. We have to wait for the other buyers first. And I think they are coming quite near. And I think before I get back to you, Vivi, I'm going to say that Petri, I think in that between space that you had been talking with Shashenka, I think it's almost like it's being painted around you. Like you will see the hallway again where it seemed to be like showing you Wolf Towers, and then it'll kind of blend out of the painting of Wolf Towers interior into a hallway that looks like it's leading into this cavern. And then Wisp, I think, as you're doing the the predator clasp with Hildy, I think this is where one of the holographic doors or walls, excuse me, will shift out of place and then kind of lead into a hallway that seems to lead into this cavern as well. And Vivi, you say you are going to use a particular power?
You're muted.
Thank you. Yes, so I think as Constantinius is showing off, Vivi will just take a beat and decide if they're really going to do this. And will weigh the pros and cons and reach inside themselves and take the knowledge of how to entangle two beings to make them one, to tie power from one to another one, a a practice that was directly related to the doom of their people and was thus banned, and will gently put a hand on Constantinius' shoulder and say, "It's a lovely trick. I have one too." I'm going to roll the dice for ashes to ashes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an 11.
The dark of your despair threatens to consume you. You choose one from above, and then I will describe how an aspect of your people's tragedy will be repeated in spite of or because of your actions. Go ahead. Which one are
So
you
I'm
picking?
going to awaken latent abilities within, choose another power of darkness from another playbook, and choose power absorption from the found.
Okay. And how an aspect of your people's tragedy will be repeated. Okay. Sure. So, what does it look like as you, I guess, absorb his powers? Is that what it is? How the
I think,
how the Omen
yeah,
works?
I think there's just it starts slowly. There's a shift. The sparkles and the coruscating glow that Constantinus is summoning just kind of wavers for a moment as if he's losing control of it. And then with it freezes for a moment and almost it shoots back into him. And then it's like all of the light in him, all of his power, all of the brightness, the vigor of this creature flows up into Vivi's arm and into them, and they are radiant for a moment.
I think in doing this, I think as Constantinius is ready to laugh at your particular trick, I think he feels the drain and he just looks at you in shock and he starts to say, "What are you doing to me?" And he can see him visibly weaken. And what I want to know is when your people's decline into complete expiration happened, was it because of the time accelerating something about your planet, or was it something within each of the people?
Oh, it was each of the people. The planet's still there.
Okay, so in which case, tell me what disastrous thing happened to them that is now happening to Constantinius as you've absorbed too much.
There is no longer enough to sustain him, I think. And so it's almost as if reality kind of inverts and folds in on itself, and there is a cry and an echo of pain, and then I think he collapses in on himself like a little tiny star.
How does that make you feel, Vivi? Seeing that and recognizing it for what it is.
He is, I think, panting, perhaps, even though they don't breathe. Their human form says this is stressful. This is this should not have been done, but what other choice was there? Vivi is so afraid of not being able to win this auction that if they came all the way to here and did not take this, what was any of it for? And I will volunteer to take the merciless condition.
I was going to ask which of those conditions seem to embody you at this moment because, yeah, definitely it affects you. And I think now that having Constantinius's power added to your own, I think you get the boost of almost being able to shoot your vision forward into the near future, and you're able to see further down the tree corridor where exactly to go to get into that cavern where the auction is going to take place. And I'm going to bring you all forward into the cavern as you all come out of your respective hallways into this place where you see the grand table, you see the 4 cards spread on display, and you see the shadowed figure that somehow is not lit up by the other spotlights on the chairs surrounding the table. All you see are slender fingers with the fingertips on the table. And you hear the voice. Ah, I believe we are all here. If not in person, then maybe in spirit. And this is directed at you, Vivi. You know it's directed at you. And is there a different kind of glow about you now?
I think so. I think there is a luminance that is scarcely contained. It's Vivi's white jacket, instead of being white, if you look at it closely, is actually every color right now.
I think, Petri, I think you will recognize Constantinius's energy from Vivi. And Wisp, I think you're still kind of hand in hand with Hildy. You've made the approach into the cavern, and you feel her squeeze your hand, and she kind of whispers to you without moving her lips. What am I doing here? I don't want to be a card.
Who said you're going to become a card? We're going to take the deck for ourselves.
She squeezes your hand again. We do it side by side.
Wait, it's just us? We're the buyers? Just us.
The shadowed figure will say, well, there were more. But it seems that there were other players taken off the board.
I didn't do anything this time.
Oh, don't say that about yourself.
Didn't you sick a guy
You
or on
did
something?
plenty. Vivi ate someone.
What?
None of you know
Look
that yet.
at them. They're glowing.
Oh,
And I think the shadowed figure will actually move back. It should have been in the light that's displaying on the cards, but still shadowed. Almost as if there's some kind of otherworldly veil on top of them. And all you still see is the hands. But they are clasped now in front of them. And they say, well, welcome. We are here to see who is the highest bidder for this beautiful deck called the Chernobog. Possession of the deck means power, means, well, a fate more expansive than any. Who will win the deck?
Me.
What have you to offer?
Zera's going to look at the others and say, I'll kill Zeus and bring you his head.
As it has been from ancient times. But I will say, this is not the first time you've done so. So I applaud your consistency. What
What?
else? What else is offered? To bid for the
Power.
deck. What kind of power?
Vivi will exude Constantius's power, shaping possibilities, quantum energies.
Ah, down to the spice and spirit of life, almost itself. Beautiful.
He just looks away slightly.
What else is offered for the deck? The shadow figure looks to both Wisp and Hildy together and to Petri.
I would give you all of the Fey realm to raise completely or transform into something else. I don't care.
That seems as an even trade. Do you have it within your power to give the entire realm?
I think that's why I was taken from it. Because it would have been mine if I stayed.
The shadowed figure nods. Ah, yes. Bring you away before you could claim the throne. Typical. And you? What do you have to offer for the deck?
Whatever you've wanted most. I offer you my hand and anything that is within it.
Hmm. You are a strange one.
And
But
yet I have more to offer than anyone else in this room. To you.
what do you place on the table as proof?
And at that, Petri, oh God, how is this going to go?
Oh God. Do you want to use a move for it? I mean,
No. Petri will bend one arm backwards through their chest, bursting out the other side with a heart still beating in whatever passes for a hand, and placing it nonchalantly, not even placing it, allowing it to roll out of the hand onto the table.
Is this reveal your heart?
Oh my god. Oh my
No?
god. Well, I mean, the figure is going to say. So you are offering something from everywhere. This is physical as well as metaphysical.
Think of it like an all expenses paid vacation.
I accept. So, to make this real fun, let's do a let's do a roll off for it, please. 2d6 plus any darkness tokens that you want to add to this.
Any risk of going over?
Yes.
Cool. I'm going to.
Consider it like a power of darkness, a power through darkness kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to hear what everybody's roll is.
Oh,
I
everybody.
have held
Okay.
myself apart from those around me, so I'm taking some darkness tokens. Let's say 3 and adding them to the roll.
Yes, you're all rolling. Power through darkness. Yep.
That is a 9 plus 3 for 12,
Okay.
I think.
What everybody else
8
got?
plus 3 for 11, but same difference.
5 plus 2 for 7.
Can we use any number of darkness tokens? Or are we
Yeah.
capped?
But the rules say
It's
no more
3,
than plus
right?
3.
No more than 3. Yeah.
Plus 3. Fantastic. 13.
Holy fuck. Wisp.
I rolled a 5.
Oh. Well, in this use case, I'm not going to even worry about the losing ones because this is just like kind of like a power through darkness through your offering kind of thing. And I think Vivi's shakes through the hardest. Vivi, what does it look like when the shadowed figure accepts your offer?
I think the form of Constantinius, a humanoid shaped glow, just tears itself from Vivi and shoots towards the plinth, the table.
Mm-hmm.
Before Vivi sees the shape and just twitches a finger slightly and it crumples into a ball. Vivi just will not meet the eyes of anyone else in the room right now.
You would give this captured spirit. You want the deck that badly. This life, this energy for all those that you can bring back.
One life for many. That I would be wrong not to make that trade.
Oh, but I ask of you, would it be so easy to give up your life to bring them all back? This
And
is
I think
fair.
perhaps unconsciously, perhaps unwillingly, maybe Vivi starts to disassemble into energy. There's to fade a little bit and to flow towards the table as well.
And I think as you do that, I think this is where the figure will step forward and will bring out the cards disappear from the board behind them and then appear in the 4 cards spread on the table itself. And then next to that is what looks like a stack of glowing cards, the rest of the deck. You build it, they will come. I have built this deck. And this represents all the power that you could need to bring about the return of your people.
Vivi
Will you
is
become one
like,
of them?
oh, become one of the deck. Vivi is involuntarily just taking like a step towards the middle of the room. I have
And
no. This world is not mine. I have no love here. I could fix all of it. And
I know it's not necessarily part of this game, but take a point of ruin, please. Because this is a pretty damn ruinous
yeah.
move, for sure. And what do the rest of you do when you see him, when you see Vivi, when you see them start to take control of the deck? The cards are on the table. This being is offering them to Vivi. What do you all do?
I pick the heart back up for sure.
Squelchy sound that it makes, yeah. Okay.
And sorry for clarity, the cost of Vivi using the deck's powers of Vivi would become part of the deck?
Hmm.
Or did I? Okay.
No, I mean, because they'll have to become part of the deck to be able to utilize the power. Is what the shadowed figure is saying.
Got it.
So, yeah. But yes, I mean, Vivi did kind of get somebody, to help the first powering of the offering. So, but what do the rest of you do?
Vivi, would you like help with that?
Oh, this is the pivotal question. How much does Vivi trust Petri?
Who knows?
Don't make me reveal my heart to you.
I don't know, you're going to dramatically reveal your heart. This is the time to do it.
This is the time to do it. Serious.
Yes, you already did reveal your heart. It was squishy.
It was squishy. Don't worry, I can do more.
Okay.
We've had one. We've had one squelch rip this session, but why not two?
Sure. What do you say to try and connect with Vivi? And then we'll
I'll
see
never
who.
know your pain. In fact, I can't imagine it. But I can see how heavy it is on your heart. And all I'm offering is a hand to help bear it with you. Even in this. Why use the deck alone? We're not alone, Vivi.
Nothing but alone. I have been nothing but alone for hundreds of years, Petri.
What am I? What are any of us to you?
I don't know.
I would have ended the world for you in an instant. I was ready to do it in the bar, Wolf Tower.
If if I let you carry this with me, if I give you some of this pain, how else can I show that I love them? All I have is the pain. If I give it away, I have nothing.
Please roll, Petri.
All right. I'm not spending darkness tokens. This one goes with God. Spending a bond with Vivi to bring that 7 up to an 8.
Okay.
Cool.
Your heart reaches theirs. Choose one. Grow closer, soothe your heart, taught you something important, gave you hope. And you are a PC, Vivi, so you choose, if you choose to deepen the connection further, you choose one too.
Well, I will say I take a bond, and narratively, Vivi will hold out a trembling hand to Petri.
What are my options? Sorry. I got
Grow closer, gain one bond. Soothe your heart, clear one condition. They taught you something important, mark XP. They gave you hope, clear one mark of ruin.
Okay. Well, I'm not doing that last one.
You all need lots of ruin for this scene.
I think I'm going to clear a condition, whatever that is. What did that mean?
You said you had 2 conditions, I think, Mark.
I do. I had overstimulated and solipsistic. I am no longer solipsistic. I am very much part of the world.
Okay.
You are very much not an extension of me in this moment.
Okay. Alrighty. So, Vivi has reached out a hand. Do you take
You'll
it?
have plenty more pain if you let this go. Or more else besides. You won't bring them back by suffering. And do you really think any of them wants the last of us, the last of you, to die?
They'll be here. It won't matter that I'm gone.
It'll matter to me. Who will I debate the nature of the universe with? Myself? I'm dreadful at it.
Vivi looks at the deck and looks at Petri and sinks to their knees, and their form becomes amorphous but fuzzy. They're not holding themselves together very well. Just take it then. Give it to Division. Destroy it. Do something before.
No. It's yours. But I can hold it for you. And Petri will move to pick up the deck. Does anyone do anything? I'll take that as a no.
Corda betrays
I
us.
think I'm going to see what the deck dreams of and walk with me in dreams.
Okay. Cool.
And I'm going to spend 2 tokens. Yes. 9.
Ha! Square in the middle. Nice. All right. On 8 to 10, you find exactly what you are looking for. All right, Zero.
Yep.
Tell me what you want. 2 of those things.
So I would like to. Oh. I'd like to unearth a secret.
Uh-huh.
Do I want to implant a suggestion that shifts reality?
On who?
Or how do we feel about the actual mystery solving part? Are we good on that? Because I can rewrite a facet now.
I mean, like, basically, you're in the
Yeah.
resolution part. So, I mean, like,
Okay, so
Yeah, this is. I think we're through that.
then
Yeah.
I'd like to bring something back from the dream.
Ooh. Alrighty. So, unearth a secret. I think as Petri and Vivi are like reaching for the deck and not reaching for the deck, I think you slip in the time shift and you are reaching out to the cards. And I think you're reaching into the deck and then seeing all the possibilities. The secret to the Chernobog deck is that it is not only together an artifact of power, but it is also in itself a doorway to all these possibilities, all these things that have happened and will happen and are happening everywhere, anywhere. In a metaphorical sense, in a literal sense, it doesn't matter. These things are not only powerful as one thing, as a whole deck, but they are also, again, portals unto themselves of something alternate, the possible, the potential. So in this, considering their nature, what do you bring back? What is the thing that you bring back from the dream?
I would love some input here on this one.
Oh, I thought you had something ready to go.
I do have an idea, but it might not be the most interesting thing.
Well, what is it?
I was thinking whatever monkey's paw catch there is to this, Zero's going to take it so that Vivi doesn't.
Oh. Yeah, I thought you were going to bring back another version of one of us, or maybe another pattern dancer.
If you bring back another pattern dancer, I'm planning to use my banked advance to change my playbook.
Really? To what?
To the shade.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh, brilliant! Holy shit!
Do you want that?
I think that would be cool. Having
My-
a special and personal relationship with death seems right for Vivi.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Fuck, that's so good.
It is so good. Holy shit.
Mhm.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me see. Did we have one in here? I hope so. let me unhide. Ah, fudge. Yep, And hit it.
And it fulfills the prophecy. It's too
No.
good.
I mean, if you want to do that, I'm okay with it.
You
Oh
can
my
still
gosh.
Matt can still do
I'll do
this
that.
no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Just it felt thematically arcy in a good way.
Oh man. Amazing.
I'll do that. Yeah.
So, what comes out of? I'm sorry. What comes out of the deck? Well,
Matt, you tell me.
How many pattern dancers do you want? 0.
I mean, if I could bring them all back, sure. He'd find a world where they didn't die. Maybe that's maybe that's implanting a suggestion that shifts reality then, instead of bringing something back.
yeah. I think when you reach out for the deck, I think one of the cards will flip to its face. What's the name of the card where you see all of the pattern dancers alive and well?
The Forgiven.
And the shadowed figure steps further back and says, "And so it be." The deck is won. I have what I needed, but I'm sure we will do business again. The voice has changed. And I think before the shadowed figure disappears, I think you get the impression of the shadow turning into what looks like fuzzy wings, fuzzy moth wings, and shades of purple shoot through. And you get the impression of a bald female figure before it completely vanishes into the shadows behind it. And you are left with the deck. And at a table, and the rest of the cavern seems to melt away, and you are out in the open, maybe shifted back into the courtyard as part of the debris that is out there. And whatever weird shimmer was outside of Vegas seems to have dropped. And you have in your hands a deck of cards. I think from maybe one of the casinos, which has now gone down to being one of the regular casinos. I can't remember their names. Maybe out of, I don't know, Excalibur, maybe. I think out staggers the agents Ehrlich, Danvers, and then Cobb. Cobb will rush over to you, Zero, and say, "We are in the cards. Can we go
Yes.
back? Can we go back now? I will talk with you. I will tell you everything. Just not now. Not here. And I think
So I think he will turn and look at Cobb and just kind of tilt his head and say, "And who are you?"
and he just kind of like just looks away and then just kind of looks back and says, "No one. No one. Yeah. I'm just the pilot." And I think this is where Lydia puts a hand on his shoulder and looks around at the rest of you and says, "I guess it was successful?" Wisp, I think Hildy is still there with you. She's kind of looking around at how it's changed. And she says, "Well, I thought we were going to have to fight for it. What will you and your companions do now?"
I think we see that Wisp is coming out of a fog. I think that when Zero's power, when Zero sort of connected with the power of the duck, with Wisp nearby, she experienced this unexpected flood of memories from a long gone alternate self. And she remembered very clearly, like deep in her muscle and her bones, loving Vivi with every atom in her body. And I think she says, "No, I think I was always going to let them have it. But that doesn't mean I don't keep my promise to you. Guard duty is over. We will find a way. There has to be more than one way to kill a god."
"I'm sure there is. If you don't mind, I could go with you and see if we could find it together."
I don't want Division to get their hands on you. They can be very convincing. Is there some way you can come without them knowing?
Hmm. I am not sure. I. Hmm.
Give me a moment.
Yes.
Wisp is gonna go over to Lydia
Hmm.
and try to separate her from Cobb for a moment.
Okay. Yes.
We're still going to have that talk, but for now I need your help.
Okay. How can I help you?
That woman over there,
That warrior, yes.
I need you to bring her back with us. But she has to be hidden
Hmm.
from division, from everyone.
Okay.
Can you make that happen?
We can drop her off in one of the... It's supposed to be a safe house. It's a transition point that we used to use for cleanup crew. And I've made sure that Division doesn't know that it's still in operation.
What?
We can find a place for her and make sure that she's not gonna be part of the roster. I I do want to continue that conversation, Wisp. Maybe you can help me too.
Yes. We'll fight for each other. But we have
So,
to trust.
yeah. Not only each other, but ourselves.
Wisp nods. And I think she puts a hand on Lydia's shoulder, squeezes it, um, in a way that's just like just bordering on a threat, like just showing like the amount of strength that is in that one hand. Don't tell Peace about this.
I won't. He's he's pretty much a division man now. I don't know if you know what that means. That's why he hasn't been on missions with us lately.
That's what that's what I was afraid of.
Right.
And there I'm gonna take 4 darkness tokens for feeling unloved or abandoned.
Um, Agent Ehrlich is kind of coming out of her own fog and saying, "Where's Vivi? Did what happened to Vivi?"
If um if it's okay with Chris, I'm happy for Vivi to come out, but they're still holding Petri's hand from the casino,
Sure.
and they are staring up at the sky above them with just this rapturous expression.
Vivi, are you okay?
Vivi will just take their other hand and put it on uh, Agent Ehrlich's shoulder and say, "Listen, I will. Can you hear them?" And we'll look up at the sky. Say, "The melody. Their voices are back." And it is like when Vivi is touching her, it is like a melody with infinite harmonies. You can focus on any note, and it is as deep as a whole song, or you can listen to it on a surface level and hear a chorus of voices. And Vivi is just staring enraptured. If they had the biology, they would be tears would be pouring down their face.
I think Agent Ehrlich does hear it through you. And there are tears. Is that what they sound like?
That's what they used to sound like before their songs went dark one by one and the music stopped.
But you can hear it now.
They're back.
Oh, Vivi.
Petri saved me, and Zero brought them back. I can never join them, you know. I carry their death inside me, but I can hear them, and that is more than enough.
I don't know what it's called. When you bring joy out of grief. Especially for such a strange circumstance.
I think perhaps you'd call it a miracle.
Sure. It's a beautiful one. How do you feel, Vivi?
Feel free. Feel amazement. Feel don't even know anymore. Is this how humans feel? So much all at once.
And she will come up to you and give you an embrace. Give you a hug, Vivi. We can end that scene there. I would like to get through a quick end of session as well as Stars and Wishes, but I also have a stinger for you all. So let's buzz through this. But I love how that ended. So we call all the bells on earth resolved. Okay? So, end of session. So just mark it off accordingly. I'm just going to read it off so we can all do it together. Did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity? If yes, mark 1 XP. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin? If yes, mark 1 XP. Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster? If yes, mark 1 XP. And did you uncover at least one key of the apocalypse or attempt to unlock Doom's door? Yeah, you did with the whole unlock Doom's door thing. Well, anyway. If no, mark 1 ruin. So, yeah. But some people gained ruin anyway. And then, did you lean in or resist your impulse?
I asked, did you compromise the beliefs and traditions of your people for the sake of someone else? And I think Vivi did.
Okay.
I asked, did you help someone else come to terms with absurdity? I
Yeah.
think I did.
I chose, did you reclaim a fragment of your memories? And, yes, he did.
Mine was, did you give into the power of prophecy and strengthen it? And I think this new alliance of the Valkyrie definitely counts.
sure. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'll save the stinger for after Stars and Wishes. So, Stars and Wishes, I think we know how this works. So, damn. Damn.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, this is the excitement that really gets me about TTRPGs, okay? I mean, just this episode today. Holy crap. So much. And I can't even pick out a moment as usual, but more specifically because everything was just so full of emotion or some kind of dramatic action that needed to be taken. It's like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And I'm here for it. So stars all around because everybody was leaning in and doubling down hard on what they were doing. So it was just really beautiful, and I enjoyed it. So wishes. We'll see. We're gonna be we're gonna be starting the new mystery soon, and we'll see what that is, and getting through that and seeing if we can, even if we don't have a satisfactory ending, whatever, then at least get you through who's in front for the race to the apocalypse. As always, that's my wish, to see who's in front. Who's getting there first to becoming a harbinger. I'm done.
Um, I will go. I obviously I don't have that many because I was here missed half a session. Although I really enjoyed the back half of the session, so thank you all for that. Of note from the back half was uh, Ben trying to find the dream of the deck. I thought was a really interesting way of spinning that, and then rolling with my suggestion. I really appreciate that. I think I was really happy how that worked. I also really liked the one line, the kind of cold, and who are you to Cobb was like, oh, that relationship is damaged in such a terrible way for drama and good, and I'm looking forward to it. Chris, I thought Petri ripping out his own heart was really interesting because first you did it physically, and then you did it metaphorically, and they were both really good. So stars for those. I would have ended the world for you was a great line. Ooh, yeah, in the feels. Elle, I thought guard duty is over. We will find a way was a really good line, and it has a weight to it. Ooh. So if that was an on the fly thing, gravitas. Ooh, well done. Mads, thank you for going with this as well. For doing I thought the deck personified was weird and interesting, and a separate one as well for Cobb's. I will tell you everything, but not here and not now, because now I want to know. You sparked my curiosity. I am invested in Zero's backstory here between the two of them. Wishes. I am excited for the blossoming, more direct relationship between Petri and Vivi, which is now made even better by Wisp remembering their previous relationship, because that timing is just amazing and awful for everyone. So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited to workshop turning this into the Shade playbook. So I will poke at that over the course of the week and send it to you, Mads, I think.
Yes.
And then you can,
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
goes.
Just let me know when you're done, like, filling stuff in.
Cool.
For sure.
So I'm excited to see. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Vivi who hits the the Harbinger thing first now, but I'm still very excited to see where we go. this point.
Amazing.
I'll go. Matt took a lot of my. I just wrote down little lines as they were spoken because they stuck with me, and Matt stole a lot of them. But Chris, I really enjoyed your card for the deck, the Hall of Mirrors. It was really evocative and weird and felt perfect. And also the quotes. As much as I would love to expand to fill this space, and your idea to try and intimidate Shoshenka with as many Petris as possible, that felt so Petri and so weird and kind of distressing. It was perfect. Um, and yeah, as mentioned, I would have ended the world for you. Mm. Uh, Matt going with, yeah, the big change you have in mind, and the line, all I have is the pain. Uh, that was a really good moment from Vivi, and I'm glad things turned out the way that they did. Elle, the big star was her, okay, fine, I'll use I statements from now on. It was just, it was so perfect, and I loved it. But also the greed card, uh, so weird and cool, and I loved the scenes with Hildy. Uh, I want to see more Hildy and see what that means. It seems like we got all sorts of potential love connections going on, and Zero sitting here kicking his legs, being, like, I'd like some Coke. Uh, Mads, I really love Shashanka's voice. I love the way that you were depicting them. I'm glad we finally got the reveal that yes, indeed, this is the Moth person. And yeah, good stuff. Really looking forward to seeing what's next after. Well, downtime will absolutely be very interesting.
Yes.
But the next mystery should be a hoot.
Hopefully.
Uh, stars I have that have not yet been mentioned is I I loved the line I have written down because I stopped taking basically when we crossed into the auction room, I stopped taking notes because I was too in it, as is a running theme. Uh I have from Zero the the way you kept saying, I have money gave me such like such a teen at prom energy, such a just like being led somewhere like, yep, I'm important. Was hilarious, especially considering how that all went down. And likewise, Elle, I loved the narrative symmetry of the blade at the neck. I love how you keep taking people on. I love how you are like playing into that prophecy just a little bit every time because you think you can beat it. And I love from Matt's, I love Sashenka. I love them so much. They're so fucking weird. Just let me at them. I just want to poke them with a stick, just a little bit for science. And Matt, I mean, you stole the last hour of this session. Need I say more? That was incredible. And wishes, we left a lot of people behind in there. There are 6 deathless, 0 people in there. There's
Yeah.
some guy with a girlfriend at least. There was a whole world in there. What happened? What happened? Ben has just typed he's over her in the chat. Or
True.
maybe he'll never be over her. Who knows? Maybe we've collapsed him into a single state of just pure cosmic yearning.
Oh God. Because
But yeah,
that's
that's
what you
me.
need. Because that's what you need to end. Broken dreams. Sorry.
Yeah, a lot of my stories have been mentioned already too. But to add, I'm so excited to see what changing playbooks is gonna look like for Vivi and like what that will mean in the context of our game. I think it'll be really fun. And I'm excited to see what manifestation of death appears to Vivi. That will be super interesting. I don't know. I'm fascinated by this choice and I love it. I also really enjoyed your description, Matt, of the tragedy of Vivi's people like happening in miniature to Constantineous. I just thought it was evocative and scary, but like in a beautiful way. Like I can imagine this like grand cosmic thing happening in like a millisecond and how like entrancing that would be. Um, so yeah, amazing. Zero or Ben. Yeah, just the idea of plumbing the deck's dreams was so good. And then how that ended up setting up things for Vivi and like this whole dramatic spiral of the last act of the session was like really great. And for Petri, the many Petris versus Tashenko was mentioned, so I won't go into that. I also really enjoyed the various echoes of your heart being wrenched from your chest, or you actively wrenching your heart from your chest,
I
more
suppose it could happen.
accurately. Good. Um, and for Mads, what hasn't been mentioned? Looking for my notes. Oh yeah, I thought the paint the scene question for the deck was really fun, and the way that that sort of in a weird way it felt like the session was sort of structured around the various cards we came up with for the deck because everyone's great at reincorporating. I know that it wasn't planned, but yeah, that was a really cool setup for all of that to happen in a really satisfying way. So yeah. Oh, wishes. Sorry. Yeah, I think I have two. I think what Wisp said about Division not wanting Fairy to fall to her, like she's thinking that like, oh, I would have snapped and like, taken over, but I don't think she doesn't know about the her like bloodline and like claim to the throne that way. So I think it would be interesting if she finds out and what might spiral from that. Um, I also am curious whether Zero wants help killing some gods because Wisp is down now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I think, yeah, there's a lot of loose things. The hypnos groupie undead unlife people, um, Gyre and Prometheus, uh, Elijah, somewhere in Vegas, just keeping his memory distant, and he's finally able to go home at least. And I think you all shakily in your own way make your way into the hoverjet. Cobb's flying, Lydia's backup pilot, and Agent Ehrlich is, um, a passenger. And I think whatever you're doing on the flight, it's going to take a little bit. And maybe just as a question before I get into the full stinger scene, um, what what mundane thing do you teach Hildy while you're on the trip back, or on the way to division before you drop her off? What is one mundane thing that you teach her before she
Does
gets
the jet
dropped?
have seatbelts?
Yeah, usually.
I wonder if Hildy has never used a seatbelt.
Oh, probably not. She's probably complaining because it doesn't fit around her armor.
Has Wisp?
I mean, it's like the strap things, like kind of like
Yeah.
the over the shoulder and then across the waist and stuff. So,
I mean, yeah, Wits probably doesn't wear those. Gravity cannot defeat her.
oh God, that's true.
She
Actually,
has wings. Maybe. Allegedly.
Just stab gravity with a sword, it's fine.
there you go. That'll
Yeah,
definitely
who
break
needs
the fall.
wings?
I mean, like maybe even like Hildy gets into like a kind of like argument about it, or like says it's like if you do this, then you can always mitigate your fall. Like with maneuvers with your sword. Anyway, as this is all going on, I think Lydia's, watching the console, and then for some reason, even though Cobb is main pilot, he starts to nod off. And Lydia doesn't notice until a little too late when there's an altitude alarm, and then she realizes what has happened. And she yells for everybody to strap in. And, she's trying to get control of the hoverjet. But for whatever reason, like, the stuff that she's trying to do with the controls and steering to try to raise it back up, it's not working. And she's calling out, she's smacking the console, trying to, like, radio in, trying to figure out what's wrong. And she's trying to wake Cobb up. And he's not waking up. And I think the hoverjet does not go into a spiral. It doesn't go into a nosedive. But what it does is it goes into a very accelerated descent. And you just find yourselves going through, in the hoverjet, a very bumpy ride through a forest, into some woods, out onto a highway, and then all goes black. And there's a voiceover of the radio of the hoverjet and its division trying to find out what happened to the unit, your unit. Where are you? Can you read what's happened? And that's it until next time. So, you guys have a wonderful week. Happy gaming, and I will see you next time.